Hello and welcome to my comedy podcast. Talking about comedy, I am doing the Rick Mail Comedy Festival. If you are in Droitwich or nearabouts, come and see my solo show, Half Soaked, Friday, 6th of June. Tickets are free. Google Rick Mail and you shall find my link. Other than that, this is my podcast, crazy little thing called Lovdev. Today's episode is 162. It can get stiff at times. Hello, people out there. Hello. How are we? I'm guessing you're all right, innit? I always ask, how are we? How are we? We're fine, Lovdev. We're just listening to you, you blunker. That's what you're all probably thinking right now. Hello. Yes, it's one of them. I thought, right, quick podcast. I've got a busy week. Should I say? Well, yeah, busy weekend and a busy week. So this weekend, my wife, Sheila Barpega, is going on holiday to Cyprus with her sister and somebody else. Don't know, could be a man. So they're going on holiday and I've got to look after the kids for a couple of days. I've been doing the old housewifey stuff. Although she's going Sunday, so when you guys listen to this, she's already there. She's probably come back by the time you've heard it. Those of you who are the late listeners. Hopefully by then I haven't burnt the house down or anything like that. Or the kids haven't. So, yeah, as I said, I was doing the housewifey stuff, like cleaning up, doing the hoover. Got all the washing done. Look at me, man. I'm a proper housewife. Washing done. Got it all hanged out. It's fun saying it hanged out. I mean, I've checked the BBC weather today to see, what's the temperature like today? It's supposed to be 18 degrees, right? But it's cloudy. I'm thinking, where is the sun, BBC? You're lying to me, man. You said it's going to be sunny. It's not. It's cloudy. Unless the clouds disappear and the sun comes out and it can dry my clothes. But I don't know, to be honest. So, yeah, wife's going away. I've got the kids. Tomorrow I'm taking my son to Thomas the Tank Engine Day Out, I think it's called. It's in a little park in a place called Tamworth, just outside of Birmingham. Be taking my son there. He's a massive fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. I think he's kind of looking forward to it. So my day will be spent there with him. Unfortunately, I haven't got a gig tomorrow evening. If I had one, I would like it to be local, to be honest, because the kids are going to be home alone, innit? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd rather they just be in safe hands because quite late, well, I'll say lately, the other day, my missus told me she heard some noise from the back garden. It was around about midnight, right? And I thought, oh my God, who's that? What? I said, what do you mean? She said, she heard somebody like trying to climb over the fences. So behind the back of my house, there's an alleyway, right, and which backs onto another road. So my road and that road share the alley, but we don't have access to it, if you know what I mean. So basically, she heard someone climbing over the fences, and I thought, right, we need to report this to the neighbours. I don't know many of my neighbours. I'm telling, a few of them I've told, but I was more concerned about the other side of the road, the other road. So luckily, there's this one dude, I got his number, he lives on that road, and I messaged him. And I was like, just to let you know, my missus said she heard something in the night, just to be wary, let your other neighbours know. And then he's made me join. Well, I asked him, he didn't make me. He said, do you want to join the WhatsApp group? For that road, I don't even live on that road, if you know what I mean. Like, I was like, yeah, go on then. There's loads of them on there. I think the whole street is on that WhatsApp group. I thought, fair play. Because that road is similar size to mine, but I think mine's a bigger road. I thought, fair play. All the neighbours are on there. None of my neighbours have thought of this. Oh, let's set up a WhatsApp group. Yeah, we should. There's so much going on now in my neighbourhood. I don't know if I've told you this, but there's a young lad who lives opposite my house, and his car, right, he's got a nice car. He's got like one of the Ford Fiesta, you know, the sporty one. He had his front bumper nicked. They literally ripped off his front bumper of his car. And I felt really sorry for him, you know. And there's nobody on my road has thought of all that, you know, keep your neighbours in check, you know. Keep them in check, you know what I mean? Absolutely madness. So that's the reason I'm not worried about my kids. I know they can look after themselves, but they're obviously young, you know, they're still teenagers, and I don't really want anything to happen to them. So if I was going to do a gig, I would prefer if it was local. My missus will be away for like 5 nights, so she'll be back before I even know it. But while she's gone, I'm going to enjoy myself. That's what I'm going to do. So I thought about doing something quite different. I can't remember what the topic is, but I can't remember now. But it's something. It's a bit like it. That's interesting, you know. That's interesting, but it isn't that. It's kind of. I forgot what it's called. I'll be honest, folks. Well, let's just call it. Did you know? Did you know? That's what we're gonna call it. I can't remember what it was called now. Obviously, I got it pulled out from Reddit, as always, because I've got nothing to talk about in my life. Did you know George Clooney kept a photo of himself as Batman in his office wall as a cautionary reminder to avoid big budget blunders? Did you know that? I didn't know that. So 16 years later, apparently George Clooney still regrets suiting up as the Caped Crusader. Wow. In an interview with Deadline, the Academy Award-winning actor and producer revealed that he kept a photo of himself as Batman, prominently displayed on his office wall as a cautionary reminder of what can happen when you make movies solely for commercial purposes. Around the time he signed on to Batman and Robin, George Clooney was still best known as the original McSteamy on NBC drama. The big budget action flick co-starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman and Alicia Silverstone was going to be a big break. My phone rang, this is what George Clooney's saying, my phone rang and the head of Warner Brothers said, come into my office, you're going to play Batman in a Batman film. And I said, yeah. I called my friends and they screamed and I screamed and we couldn't believe it. This is what Clooney was saying. I just thought the last one had been successful, so I thought I was just going to be in a big, successful franchise movie. He absolutely thought wrong. Batman and Robin was considered a commercial drain when it hit the theatres in 1997. Earning a domestic lifetime gross of $107 million on a production budget of $125 million. They lost out. The Joel Schumacher directed film earned a 12% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 11 Razzie Award nominations, including the Worst Picture. It threatened to derail the entire franchise. With hindsight, it's easy to look back at this and go, whoa, that was a really crap and I was really bad in it, Clooney said. It was a difficult film to be good in, he's saying. He quickly realised that he needed to steer clear of flashy movies that are a waste of money. At that point, I realised I'd better start picking better. My next 3 movies were Out of Sight, Three Kings and Oh Brother, I've never seen that, and Where Art Thou? Clooney said it was okay at last. I understand now what I want to do. Clooney's time in Gotham City continues to influence his work. The actor prides himself on fighting for proactive movies under increasing pressure from distributors, companies to churn out tent-pole films. Last month, he slammed hedge fund honcho Dan Loeb, whoever that is, who controls 7% of Sony's pictures stock, for encouraging the company's chief to spin off entertainment. The actor argued that by elevating Sony Pictures based on its revenue and not the quality of its content, Loeb makes it nearly impossible to produce meaningful but risky pictures like Clooney's Oscar-winning Argo or his current time period project, The Monument Men. In Argo, the film, the studio leap of faith paid off and grossed around $232 million. Wow, that's a lot of money in it. And their budget was only $44 million to make the movie. The Monuments Men is equal promising as an untold story of the Second World War. Clooney, Matt Damon, Kate Blanchett, and Bill Murray, John Goodman, all in this movie. I don't think I've ever seen it. Is it something to do with stolen by Nazis before Hitler destroys them? No, okay. Well, if you've seen that movie, I just find that fascinating that George Clooney's got a picture of himself as Batman. And never to remind himself never to be in that film ever again. That is brilliant. I mean, a lot of us would have pictures of happy moments in it, but sometimes maybe we do need pictures in our life to remind us of the bad times. If I was going to be a superhero and I could be in, I don't know, any movie, I would love to play Deadpool, but obviously I'm not skinny like Deadpool, am I? I've been walking loads this week, So, at work, like, I look after this young lad, and we've started to take him out now. The line of work I do, the care work stuff, yeah. Started taking him out. So we've been walking for about 2 weeks now. And the walks are just getting longer and longer. Yesterday, we walked 4 miles in total. It's actually 4.3 miles. And I was so tired last night. I went to bed early. I was in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Because I'm starting to feel it. Do you know what I mean? But I feel good as well. I feel like I've shredded a couple of pounds. I love my phone because every time we do a walk now, it will say 500 calories or 600 calories you've burnt. So we walk twice a day. So we walk for an hour, and then the second walk, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. It will tell me, my phone will. It will say, congratulations, you've just burnt 1 chicken leg. That's equivalent to 1 chicken. I thought, oh my God, I need to replace it. So I bought KFC last night. That's what I did. Joking aside, though, I absolutely love the walking now. I just feel so much more fitter. And I'm happy because I've been having problems with my foot. Last week, I went to see a podiatrist. Now, I know that I kind of injured it in the gym. I did an exercise that I shouldn't have done. Basically, it's not the exercise. It was the position of my feet that were in whilst I was doing my weight training. And then I injured it, and I was in pain for ages, man. I couldn't even drive sometimes at gigs because my feet kept swelling up, and I thought, oh my God, I've got gout. I don't know what's wrong with me. Went to see a podiatrist, and luckily by then I was a bit more better. And she told me that I've got a hallux litimus, which is basically, your big toe. Apparently you can bend your big toe all the way back. I didn't know that. I've never tried that. Or maybe I'd do it. You do it without even realizing that how much you can bend your toe. So she said to me, she said, your toe doesn't bend back. I'm trying to push it back and it's not doing it, which means I've got a hallux limitus. And I thought, oh, well, that's good news because I haven't got a bunion or I haven't got any other type of injury. It's just this thing. And I was like, is it going to go? She said, it can get stiff at times, right? I don't know why I laughed then, me and my filthy mind. It can get stiff and it will stay in one position. I know. I wish it was like that for other body parts, but... Oh, God, I make myself laugh, innit? You got to make yourself laugh. So, basically, I've got to look after my feet. She said do a lot of walking. Funny enough, that is happening now. And I feel so much better. My feet does. Oh, my God. I feel way, way better now. Oh, God, I need to stop doing this podcast. Shall we do a confessions? to get our mind off my mind. Well, your mind off my mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just tired. I'm so tired. Yeah. Shall we do a confession? That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, let's do today's confession. Today's confession put up by somebody called Ria Engineer. What a great username. Rear Engineer on the Confessions Forum. This is his confession. My brother won the lottery, but I swapped our tickets. Wow. Mate, you've disowned your own brother. Why? He's saying, I think about this way too much. It's been years. But every time I see a lottery ad or hear someone talk about a big win, I feel sick. My brother isn't the type to play the lottery. He's always been the responsible one. Good job, steady life, never takes dumb risks. But one random day, we were walking through a shopping centre, and as we passed the newsagent, he decided to grab a lucky pick ticket. So I'm guessing it's a lucky dip in the UK. Just a total impulse buy. I laughed at him, saying he was wasting his money. But for some reason, I grabbed one too. Just for the giggles. A few days later, I was at his place and saw his ticket just sitting there on the kitchen bench, half buried under some unopened mail. I knew the draw had already happened, so out of pure curiosity, I checked the numbers, and my stomach dropped. It was the jackpot. It was a lot. Low six figures, the kind of money that could wipe out a debt, buy a new car, or cut my mortgage in half. I don't even remember making the decision. My own ticket had a total dud. That was still in my wallet. Before I knew it, I swapped them and left shortly after. A week later, we were having a beer and he casually mentioned that he'd forgotten to check his ticket. I shrugged and said, yeah, you probably didn't win anyway. He laughed and agreed and said he'd probably throw it out already. I wanted to throw up. Cashing it was easy. The whole sum went into my mortgage and helped me pay off at least a decade earlier. No one knew. You have just committed a crime, my friend. He's doing pretty well for himself. Good job, nice place. He's got no financial worries. That helps ease the guilt a little bit, and it makes it easier to convince myself it wouldn't have changed much for him anyway. This afternoon, at a charity raffle, we entered for a good cause but didn't win anything. He casually complained about he never wins anything anyway, and I immediately felt a tight knot in my chest. I laughed along, acted like it was nothing, but in the back of my mind, I wondered how different things could have been if I hadn't swapped our tickets. Mate, you've just done your brother over. Literally your blood brother. I wouldn't do that to my brother, man. I'll be like, yo, mate, you've won some money. I would be happy for them. You've literally stolen. That's what you've done. You've stolen his lottery winning ticket, and that is awful, my friend. I don't know what to say to you. He's edited the post, he's saying. Well, he's edited it. He's put down, a lot of people are questioning how I was able to claim the prize if I wasn't the one who bought the ticket in my country. If you buy a physical lottery ticket from an outlet with cash, there's no way to trace it back to the original buyer. The ticket itself is basically like cash. Whoever has it can claim the prize. I believe it's only registered to a buyer if the ticket was purchased online. Yes, you are right about that. So if you buy a ticket with your card, then obviously there's track of it. But if you just paid a ticket with cash, how are they going to know who bought it? Sometimes, I don't know if they do it in the UK, but I think they check the cameras. If the shop has CCTV, they will probably check. Like, there's a shop down the road. I think I mentioned it before. That guy's told me he's had 2 winners, and it even says we have had 2 winners in this shop on the National Lottery. Scratch cards, I don't really trust. Lucky Dip, I've never really done it. Maybe I should do one and get my brother to buy a ticket. He'd probably win anyway, because he's always the lucky one. It's time to end the podcast, folks. I know. Here is today's weird news story. Woman who planned to sell human toes regurgitated by dogs avoids a jail in Melbourne during a court sentencing. What is all this about? A woman who planned to sell human toes on an online black market after dogs regurgitated them has avoided jail. Why and how? By the barest of a possible margin. Joanna Kathleen Kinman, what a horrible name, was employed at a Victorian animal shelter as a ranger when 2 dogs vomited up the toes and other remains in February 24 last year. The dogs had been surrendered to the shelter after the death of their owner, whose name was suppressed. The man died of natural causes before his pets had eaten parts of his body. Kinman faced Ringwood Magistrates Court on Monday, where she pleaded guilty to offensive conduct involving human remains. Magistrate Andrew Sim, shout out to the Magistrate Andrew Sim, sentenced her to an 18-month community corrections order, including 150 hours of community work. By the barest of possible margins, you will not be going to jail today. This is what the magistrate told her. Your conduct would, in my view, arouse significant anger, resentment, outrage, disgust, or repulsion in the minds of any reasonable person in the community. The 48-year-old, happy birthday, you evil woman, was not required to speak during her appearance and was supported by her 17-year-old son. Happy birthday, son. The police prosecutor, St. Constant Melissa Sambrook, that's a long name, innit, said Kidman was not present when the dog regurgitated the remains, but searched a wheelie bin looking for the toes. She located 2 human toes and took them home and placed them in a jar containing formaldehyde, Sambrooks has said. Later, during a call with her daughter, Kidman discussed how she planned to sell the toes online and said research suggests she could get around $400. Police subsequently arrived at her Lilydale home after a tip-off from an unknown source. Kinman made full admission to possessing the remains and intending to sell them online. She showed police where the jar with the toes was located beside other oddities including an alligator claw, a bird skull and a guinea pig trotter, and her children's teeth. This woman sounds like a serial killer in the making. Police found Kinman was a member of the Bone Buddies Australia Facebook group, commonly used to buy, swap and sell specimens online. Sam Brooks said Kinman was an avid contributor to the site and had previously sold wet specimens of a stillborn kitten and puppy. She needs locking up. It was not revealed where those remains were sourced. During a police interview, Kinman told officers she was curious about the toes and took them because I know someone who collects weird things. Yeah, you weirdo. I thought, cool, it's a toe. She's just thinking of money, man. Many of the dead man's relatives were unaware of the crime, with his son choosing to shield them from the investigation, saying his family had already suffered enough, the court heard. Kinman's lawyer, Raina Martini, told Sim his client had also been affected by her spontaneous crime. He said Kinman lost her job and her name spread online by a community that was unsurprisingly repulsed by her behaviour. She has regretted fulsomely, not just for herself, but for the impact of the family of the deceased. This is what her lawyer is saying. That's a friggin' lie. The magistrate said it was hardly surprising Kinman, who had studied psychology as well as an animal science, lost her job over the entirely odd behaviour. I find it remarkable that someone of the accused's experience and education would not know it was an offence. This is what the magistrate has said. It's outstanding that she didn't understand taking two toes that had been vomited up by one or two dogs from a dead person and selling them on the internet was the wrong thing to do. I'm still struggling to understand its astonishing behaviour. He accepted Kinman had expressed remorse, but said it wasn't a monumentary lapse of... I can't even say the word. Basically, he didn't accept it. She had been facing up to 2 years in prison. But the prosecutor said Kinman's lawyer agreed she should be assessed for a corrections order. Whatever that is. What's she going to do? Stick the bloody toes back on the dead body? Kinman did not want to comment outside of the media after her court hearing. That is today's bizarrely, weirdly Australian weird news story. I don't know what to say about that. Absolutely awful, mate. Ugh, makes me want to vomit like the dogs. Enjoy the rest of the week, folksy folk. I will see you on another episode, obviously, next week, Monday. Keep tuned in.